Welcome to our news updates. Washington, September 13. U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy will face a fractured group on Wednesday, with his role as the top Republican in Congress under threat from the far right, despite giving hardline conservatives the impeachment inquiry they wanted. McCarthy bowed to weeks of pressure from hardliners and allies of former President Donald Trump by launching a formal investigation into Democratic President Joe Biden. The move bypassed up to 20 House Republicans who opposed the action, avoiding a floor vote that likely would have failed. Before we continue, please support us by clicking on the subscription button and turn on the notification bell for more updates. We cannot use impeachment as a political weapon against all presidents, Republican Rep. Don Bacon, a centrist from Nebraska, said in a statement. But even after the announcement, hardline Rep. Matt Gaetz again raised the possibility of removing McCarthy as part of a deal he agreed to become president, which gave each member the power to vote to remove him. Gaetz said the president could face multiple votes on motions to dismiss the presidency for failing to honor a secret agreement that allowed him to become president in January. The way forward for the House of Representatives is to force you into complete and immediate submission or impeach you, Gaetz said in a speech aimed directly at McCarthy. As Congress approaches September, to avoid a government shutdown, House hardliners are now urging McCarthy to avoid short-term stopgap measures to keep federal agencies afloat that do not include border security provisions and other conservative priorities. Gaetz cited a long list of measures that McCarthy said he had not proposed, including a balanced budget, term limits, the full release of video footage of the attack on the Capitol on January 6, 2021, and a subpoena for Biden's son, Hunter Biden. Representative Chip Roy, who led the negotiations that led to the hardliners' January deal with McCarthy, confirmed that the Speaker had made no progress on the points listed by Gaetz. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, RCA, issues a statement on the allegations surrounding U.S. President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden as the House returns from its summer recess and faces a looming deadline to call for a government shutdown to prevent, while spending talks continue, acquire license rights from Capitol. "We didn't do that. We didn't do what we agreed to do," Roy told reporters. But the Texas Republican downplayed questions about McCarthy's future as president, saying the focus now is on hitting tough spending targets and enforcing measures to address the U.S. border. Another hardliner, Rep. Clay Higgins, said, "The focus should be on passing budget legislation that reduces spending to a level of $1 by fiscal year 2022.47 trillion, $120 billion less than agreed with Biden in May. Centrist Republicans reject such sharp cuts." Asked specifically about a motion to oust McCarthy, Higgins said, "Let me say that my colleagues should think carefully before going down this path. But McCarthy remains under intense pressure, and not just on budget legislation to pass the Republican bill with deep cuts, but also to force lower spending levels through the Democratic-led Senate, which has begun pushing through its own spending bills. We challenge the Speaker to be a historic and transformative Speaker who will once stare at the White House, stare at the Senate, stand steadfast in defense of the American people, and say no." Republican Rep. Bob Good said at a news conference, "While most hardliners have been unwilling to make open threats about McCarthy's future, many have nonetheless made it clear how deeply disappointed they would be if he decided to avoid a government shutdown with the support of House Democrats. It would be a sad day for the country if he did that," said Rep. Ralph Norman, a leading member of the ultra-conservative House Freedom Party caucus. "That's the only way I can describe it. A sad day for America." Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.